Whoa! Today I'm making an entire video dedicated to the England national team. The Three Lions, obviously the fans have been inspired a lot lately as they had a very terrific run in Euro 2020, making it all the way to the final and then losing on penalties. It's gotta be heartbreaking. Honestly, you got a feel for this side. Lots of incredible talent, some of them not even at the peak of their career yet. Surely they've got to win some kind of trophy sooner or later. And even though we're not going to be seeing this side play until June for the Nations League, they're in a very difficult group, by the way, with Italia, Germany, and Hungary. I decided to make a video dedicated to them, as many people have been asking why I left them out of my top 10 national teams to watch in 2022. And even though they just missed out for me, I'm still keeping my eye on this side. I wanted to put them in my underrated nations to watch in 2022, but let's be honest, England is not necessarily underrated. They're a brilliant side, but I think the expectations for them are very high right now. And I've obviously been keeping my eye on this side as Croatia and England have had some recent history, breaking each other's hearts a fair amount of times. Yes, I was born and raised in America, but my #1 national team I support is Croatia because my family is from there. I got the privilege to attend the World Cup, watch Croatia's first 3 group stage games, which were obviously absolutely incredible. Even though we beat England in that World Cup semi-final, England have also had a terrific World Cup performance. Making it to the semi-finals is already an achievement on its own. And then making it to the final in the Euros, man, they've got to win at some point soon, surely. So yeah, the reason why I figured to give my thoughts on the England national team today, first reason being because a lot of you guys are obviously asking for them, but also I feel like this side overall gets a negative view towards the other fans from the other European countries. Maybe it's because people were annoyed with the "it's coming home" chants. But to be honest, I liked it. England fans are definitely the most cheerful, noticeable, and boastful throughout the entire Euro tournament. Many people are also annoyed with the fact that England played most of their matches at Wembley, while all the other teams had to travel all over Europe. Yeah, honestly, that's a bit annoying, but you can't blame the England squad or their fans. You gotta mostly blame UEFA. I agree, I thought it was kind of ridiculous that England played only 1 away match the entire tournament, in Rome. Obviously, footballers are used to it, but traveling does take a toll, and if one team doesn't really have to do much of it, it causes a burden. It would be different if the tournament was only hosted in 1 or 2 countries, so this wouldn't be an issue for any of the teams. But I still think the Euro tournament shown is one of the best England sides we've seen in years. Sure, a decade ago, on paper, we might have seen one of the best England squads ever. You had the likes of John Terry, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney. The list goes on, but these are some of the key icons, and they still failed to win anything and haven't come anywhere close to where this current England national team has. Why is that? Personally, I think one of the reasons why England are doing so much better right now is overall, the team has much more morale in the dressing room. Lots of players in that supposed golden generation for England were not as much of a unit. They were compared a lot individually, and even though they had some serious talent, they just didn't gel well together because they were compared all the time. Even during the Premier League seasons, you see these guys getting along right after the match, shaking hands, hugging it out. For example, after one of the recent Manchester City derbies, lots of the players were hugging it out after full time. And of course, you got Roy Keane talking about how it's embarrassing how these players are hugging and all that, not looking as competitive on the pitch.
I don't get it.
You know what? Just because footballers don't want to kill each other on the pitch doesn't mean they don't know how to play. And some of the players hugging it out obviously play for the same national team. For example, John Stones and Harry Maguire hugged it out. They ended up producing a brilliant partnership in the Euros. Obviously, I don't know what goes behind the England dressing room all the time, especially back then. Now you see all these social media posts showing how the national team's having a great time, but back then it was more oblivious. But it seems to me that these current players are letting their club rivalries being set aside and obviously playing together in the most uniform fashion. Obviously, on paper, Rio Ferdinand and John Terry looked a lot better than Harry Maguire and John Stones, but they didn't make it to any Euro finals, did they? Obviously, Gareth Southgate's a big talking point as well. Sure, he's made some mistakes here and there. I think he definitely shouldn't have made so many substitutions for the penalty kicks, as none of those players had a chance to warm up. Their nerves were definitely up there. But overall, the fact that he's taken England to a semi-final in a World Cup and a final in a Euro tournament, you gotta give props to him. I'm very curious to see how England does in Qatar, depending on their group, depending on their path. This is definitely the chance for them to win something. I definitely think Gareth Southgate's the man for the job. Despite his mistakes mentioned, he'll learn from them. We all do from our mistakes, and maybe it can finally come home. Croatia obviously had some triumphant victories against England in the past, 2008 in the Euros, 2018 in the World Cup, but at this current time, I'm honestly very afraid to play the England side. They obviously beat us in the Euros in the group stage, and yes, some people also arguing that England may have had an easy path to the final. They still beat Germany in the round of 16s, a favorite for many people. Now let's go on to some individual players. I already talked about the partnership between Harry Maguire and John Stones. John Stones isn't even a guaranteed starter for Manchester City. Harry Maguire has recently been very shaky for United, but on the national team, he looks like another beast. Definitely putting his heart out there. But there's still so many phenomenal center backs, Tomori being the prime example, but there's still so many others. In the right back position, it must be an absolute headache for Gareth Southgate to choose somebody. He's got so many options. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kyle Walker, Reece James, Kieran Trippier, Wan-Bissaka. There's honestly many more. That's only just a few. At left back, there aren't as many class options, but there's still a decent amount. Luke Shaw and Ben Chilwell being the favorites for me, but you still got other options such as Cresswell. Forgot to mention the goalkeeper. Let's move on to that before we talk about the center mids. Pickford has been the go-to option, but Aaron Ramsdale has had a terrific season for Arsenal. Could we be seeing him taking over? Will Gareth Southgate stick with his original picks? For the center mid, some of them versatile and can play on wings and whatnot, but it's still a headache for Southgate. To play more defensive role, you got Declan Rice, Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips. Dele Alli may have not been looking at his best, so he's been recently dropped, but he still could have selected Ward-Prowse for the Euros, which he decided to not do. Thankfully, now he's been getting called up though. Phil Foden and Mason Mount, these guys get compared a bunch, but they don't let it get past them, it seems like, in the dressing room. Seems like they're both genuinely happy to just make it into the England squad. And now you've also got Conor Gallagher having a phenomenal loan season at Crystal Palace. The depth is just nuts. Bellingham as well. I mean, I can go on and on. I'm going to stop there for the center mids, but you get the point. Now for left wing. Raheem Sterling has been getting started a lot. Gareth Southgate has been heavily criticized in the past for choosing him in the Euros, as there have been other left wingers that could have been better than him. And Marcus Rashford, Jack Grealish. Now you even got Smith Rowe climbing the ranks. But Raheem Sterling proved the haters wrong and actually was a massive contributor to the Euros, being one of the top scorers for the team. On the right, the latest talking points have been Sancho and Saka. But now Bowen from West Ham has been phenomenal. When will he get his England call-up? And for striker, even though he hasn't been looking as good as he was last year, Harry Kane still seems like a very reliable choice. And even if he's still not fit to play, they got loads of options. To me, as I already stated, I think Southgate is doing a terrific job with the England squad. I'd be afraid for anybody who has to come up against them. And even though the Euro final loss was such a blow for the team and the country, I think the fans have only positives to look forward to in 2022, as this is their perfect chance to redeem themselves in the World Cup. If luck's on their side and they fix those minor mistakes they made in the tournament, they could actually win that trophy this year. I don't know if they're my #1 favorites to win the entire thing, but I'm definitely not ruling them out. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, obviously I might have missed a thing here or there, but that is my review on the England national team. Like I said, figured to make this video because a lot of you have been saying I don't talk about them enough, and to be honest, I gotta agree with you. Definitely deserve more recognition. I just think they're talked about a lot by lots of other YouTubers, as those guys are actually from England. I'm not, so I figured there'd be enough England content out there, but figured to leave this video out there for you all. Thank you all for making it to the end. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all very, very soon. La noche.